Hey everybody, how are you? Ryan Derks here. I have a quick update for you. I actually put off talking about the stocks and various stock updates. Bottom line, everything's going just fine up until today with our stocks. But I want to talk about one thing that everybody's curious, emails, calls, all that, about the tariffs. What's going on with tariffs? Well, if you look right here on your screen, clearly it's a little bit scary right now. We have a huge drop off here on the right, huh? In the last 5 days, stock market down, what, from the peak? What's that, almost 10%? Now, let's get right into what's going on with the tariffs and all that stuff. So first things first, here's what the White House posted the other day: Liberation Day of reciprocal tariffs. Now keep in mind, Trump and the White House have said many times, we're not going to gouge other countries. We're simply going to charge other countries the tariffs that they charge us. Surprise though, they actually came out and they're only charging about half what other countries are charging. And what they've said in interviews is that's going to give them more wiggle room if people want to be stubborn, if countries, that is, if countries want to be stubborn, if countries want to get into a trade war, that gives the White House plenty of room to keep raising their tariffs. You can see the biggest one is on China. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. The biggest one is on China at 34%, and they currently charge us 67%. So if like a Ford truck made here goes to China taxes their people in the Ford 67%, adds an extra 67%. Okay, obviously this is causing a lot of drama. My wife the other morning had said, she was up about 7 a.m. and said, Ryan, look, they said the stock market's selling off majorly. These tariffs are such a big deal. And I said, how's the stock market down already? It hasn't even opened for another hour and a half. And guys, keep in mind, the stock market, all this selling, yes, it's happening during the day. We can see right here, down 4%. But keep in mind, when the stock market's dumping, it was dumping an hour and a half before the stock market even opened. You weren't doing that. I wasn't doing that. Your average investment advisor, whether they manage 50,000 or 50 million, they weren't selling that. Selling during the night, selling early morning, that's usually massive billion-dollar hedge funds that are doing that kind of selling. Now, maybe they're trying to day trade a little bit. Maybe they're trying to push a narrative. Maybe they're just simply being greedy and trying to avoid a loss. But average Joe like you and I, we're not selling that badly. In fact, the headlines came out yesterday. Yesterday was the biggest stock buying day of like the last 4 or 5 years. So keep in mind, is Costco going out of business? No. Is Microsoft falling apart? No. Think about whatever your favorite stock is. Are they actually fundamentally falling apart? No. A lot of the sell-off right now is just speculation and fear. But back to the tariffs. Okay, so if we get into a trade war, what's going to happen? Is Trump going to have egg on his face, or is this actually going to work out where he said, I don't want tariffs at all, I want zero tariffs? Well, it actually seems like it's already working out, because in the last 24 hours, the president of Kosovo, now granted it's Kosovo, it's a tiny, tiny country, but Kosovo said they're formally dropping all tariffs on the US, 0%. Argentina said they're formally dropping all tariffs. They're trying to get to zero tariffs. Cambodia is trying to drop their tariffs from 35 down to 5. Not quite zero, but still a huge improvement. This was literally like an hour and a half ago. Vietnam is now trying to drop their tariffs down to 0. And let's see on that chart, did it show what Vietnam tariffs right now? I'm looking. Okay, Vietnam, right? Is that right? 90%. Now, I'm not sure if that's accurate, but that's what the White House tweeted out, is that Vietnam is charging America 90% tariffs, and it looks like they're trying to drop them down to 0 right now. That would be amazing. Also, Mexico announced just the other day they are not going to do any retaliatory tariffs. So just so far on the global scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 countries have already immediately said we're dropping to 0 or near 0. Also, in the last couple of days, Stellantis, which is a massive private equity fund, they just announced that they're going to invest $1.2 billion into an Illinois truck factory to start building more cars here in America because of tariffs. Also, literally yesterday evening, Ford announces that their employee discount that's only available to Ford employees is now available to anyone who buys a Ford truck or Ford car. And they said they're going to do that until for a year or two, until they can figure out what this tariff thing is all about. So honestly, at this point, it seems like things are actually going pretty well. Now, for all the, Trump lovers or Trump haters, he's definitely walking a high line, high wire, and it has to kind of happen perfectly. But at the moment, things look like they're actually working out really well. And, just as kind of like a way to end this, here's this meme that's been going kind of viral the last few days. Is, if tariffs are bad for a country's economy, why do all the other countries have such huge tariffs on the US? And I think that's pretty straightforward if you think of it from that perspective. The end goal that Trump has said many times is he wants zero tariffs, proper free trade, zero tariffs. But we will see how that goes. So anyhow, in my opinion, I'm hopeful. I think this is actually going to work out well. I think there's going to be some short-term pain. I don't think the sell-off in the stock market is over. I think you could see more, especially like China. I know there's a headline out there that says China is actually going to increase tariffs. So it's possible that there's a little bit more fear, uncertainty, and doubt that causes the stocks to sell off. But generally speaking, I think what you're going to see, in my opinion, is a lot more U.S. hiring, a lot more U.S. building and manufacturing over the next months and years. And ultimately, at the end of the day, yes, everything you buy might be 10% more expensive. However, the amount of people who have a ton more income and just money circulating around that wasn't here at the moment is going to far, far exceed the increase of the goods that we buy. Keep in mind, here's a fact that the White House keeps throwing around. Back in the 70s or 60s, there were 90,000 factories that were almost all wiped out due to a lot of these global trade deals where all these manufacturing jobs in America left America to go to China or Mexico or whatever country. But 90,000 factories. I will show you one stock that's getting destroyed right now, and that's Nike, because Nike has almost their entire production line in China. They had about 120 factories in China. And then as a way to get out of China drama, Nike went all over to like Vietnam or something like that. And so Nike, you know what, Nike? Bring your factories back to America. Imagine how, yes, you're going to pay an extra 10% higher for your Nike shoes, but the amount of people that will be employed by a Nike factory, it could be dramatic. So anyhow, you guys, I'm not too concerned. I'm very hopeful. I think this is a necessary growing pain we're going to go through. So be patient. Keep in mind, bottom line, end of the day, the stocks that we own, like Visa, they're still solid companies. Microsoft, solid companies. Costco, solid companies. The rest of them, they're all in very, very good shape. They can withstand and absorb some of this, so don't fret. But also, we just have to be patient. We have to see how this whole thing shakes out. So that's all I've got for you right now. If you want to talk more about it, email me or call me. We're here for you, okay? Thanks. See ya.